What is the meal that you have had that will always linger on your palate? The taste that always is in your mouth. I think my favorite meal was a simple meal that my mother made for me on my 8th birthday. You can see I have a really good memory. Right after I had gotten over the measles. And it was a simple meal. It was her fried chicken. Oh, I fit the stereotype. Go with it. Lots of other people's mothers made fried chicken, and it was great, but we had fried chicken usually on Sunday, and people in our neighborhood called it the gospel bird. It wasn't just that the food was hot and delicious. Everything was delicious. The world was great and safe and bright. I try to watch what I eat now, but I confess that when it comes to fried chicken that anybody makes, I am capable of eating too much. It is as if I am trying to eat my way back to that time of safety and single-mindedness and joy. A place now that only exists in my memory, but it's a place that I will never forget. God never forgot that the Hebrews were God's chosen people. And even when they were in slavery under the Egyptians, according to the scripture, God blessed them. In slavery, they grew and multiplied, owned property, kept kosher, cooked their own food, and ate wonderful meals. When the patriarch Moses told the Hebrews to grab as many of their possessions as they could and flee Egypt for the promised land, one of the first things that the Hebrews demanded of Moses was where would they get their food? Their sense of safety. Where would that be coming from? God stepped up and promised the Hebrews personally meat for their evening meals, and in the morning the food of the angels, manna. So, when Jesus fed the 5,000 in the scripture that was read in our hearing last week, the ancient Hebrews were sure that God had come back to them in the form of Moses or Elijah, and not realizing who Jesus was, the Hebrews wanted to make Jesus their earthly king. And to be fair to the Hebrews, Jesus would have made a great king. You see, the job of the king was to look out for the welfare of the people while they went about their daily lives. Sure, a king was high and lifted up, but a king had to make sure the roads were paved, the enemies were fought off, and everybody was fed. The king didn't just live in an ivory palace with no connection to the people. The king's responsibility was to use his wealth and his power looking out for the people's welfare. If Jesus could feed 5,000 people in one seating, how could he not be the promised one? It's time to party. In the company of their friends, their prayers had been answered. In the company of their friends, their prayers had been answered. They experienced a meal they would always remember. Well, they were half right. God was in their midst, but not through what the prophet Jesus did. God was in their midst through who Jesus was. According to John, after feeding the 5,000, the clamor to make Jesus king rose to such a fever pitch that Jesus had to absent himself. His message could no longer be heard. Once the crowd realized that Jesus was gone, they got in boats and went to Capernaum looking for him. Well, when they found him, they asked, and it was rather ironic, "How long have you been here, Master?" And the reason that I say it was ironic, it was because Jesus had always been with them. They were just looking for an apparition, a manifestation cast in their own image. And that's what Jesus said to them. You came in boats looking for me, not because you understood what I came to tell you, that you are blessed of God just the way you are. You know the Beatitudes, mournful, broken, but seeking after righteousness. You came looking for me because you had a good meal in the presence of 5,000 of your best friends, and you just wanted me to do it again and again, constantly taking care of you. You want to make me your earthly king. Jesus then went on to say, what I am offering you is nourishment for a deeper hunger that you will never go hungry for again. It's like what Jesus said to the woman at the well. I have water that you will drink of so that you will never thirst again. The woman at the well said, give me that water. With relation to the bread after the feeding of the 5,000, the people who had come to Capernaum seeking Jesus said the same thing to Jesus. Give us that bread, Master, so that we will never hunger again. And that's when Jesus said, I am the bread of life. You see, hunger in this passage is a metaphor for our emptiness, our lifelong yearnings. What do we hunger for? We want approval from the world. We want children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews that will always call us and ask us what our favorite color is. We want to never get old. We want to never get sick. We want to never die. So we try to fill that hunger and that fear with the things of this world that will distract and amuse us. We hunger for things of this world that will make us forget for just a little time the sadness and the mourning that living a long life constantly leaves us with. I'm sure that Hallie Duck can tell you it's great to see your friends. But there are days when you're sitting at home, Hallie, that I'm sure you miss people who are long gone. And there's a hunger there. Oh, the growing illnesses of our life mates. You and I both know people who are suddenly thrown into dementia and Alzheimer's. Husbands and wives and partners who had worked all of their lives and thought to grow old together, and now they're in mourning for a person who is right there with them. All of a sudden, life mates become caretakers. Caretakers need vacations away from people that used to be their soulmates. There is a hunger there that nothing on this earth can fill. So we try to live our lives fast, stylishly. We try to fill our yearning, our mourning, our hunger for how sad and unfair life seems to be for all of us. Even as we wonder what hunger, what yearning would cause a prosperous person to feel the need to travel halfway around the world to kill a beloved lion or a giraffe for sport, making the animal die a horrible and painful death. You and I each have secret longings that lead us to do things that seem unreasonable to other people. Well, a strong secret towards fulfilling the hunger and thirst so that we will be filled and never hunger or thirst again is for us to identify our particular fears and our passions. Our passion to leave the world a better place than you found it. However big or however small that passion may be, it doesn't have to impress anybody else if it's your passion. And then find other people in the world that you can love and respect to share your passion so that you are fulfilled even as you join in community. Community fulfilled in journey. For all of us to live, for all of life rather, is a journeying community. Even as you make the world community a better place. All of life is a journeying community, even as you make the world community a better place. Look how our understanding of what differently able folk are capable of has grown and increased. They are not children of a lesser God. They, like us, are God's most beloved possessions that have so much to teach the world. There were communities of people being formed out there to witness the achievements of the Special Olympics. And one of the things that was pointed out in Bible study this morning, that Carol pointed out, is that everybody got a ribbon. There was no winner. Everybody was acclaimed for showing up. There was a wonderful, robust community that was begun by a community of folks seeking for a better community. One of the most touching stories to come out of the Special Olympics this week was a race of skaters. And most of the children in the particular race had different needs, but one of the children was a very fine skater, and people expected him to do well. And he had Asperger's. And of course, the bell or the gun went off to signal the beginning of the race. But what the folks forgot was, and if you know anyone who has Asperger's, loud sounds cause people with Asperger's to cover their ears. And so he falls. The stadium, which that day was filled to capacity, formed a community that sat in absolute silence so that young man could skate. We live on borrowed time, but the time is brighter and the journey is clearer as we form communities, not trying to get in with people who don't want to have anything to do with us. That's just pain. As we find people who will love us and accept us exactly the way we are, and then once we find ourselves and our passions accepted, we turn outward and begin the journey of making the world a better place. Would you pray? God, we thank you so much for this table, and we know that we're all welcome here. But we realize that you did not stay at this table. You welcomed your disciples to the table, and then you got on with the business of living. Help us to understand that we are welcome, but not to sit and stay. We are welcome to be empowered and go out and form outrageous faith communities for the benefit of your world. We thank you for that opportunity. Give us courage to live up to the commission that you have bestowed upon us. In your Son's name